right now, a Republican. Jim Moody is. You got to be careful how you say that in this town, boy. I tell you, I've been told to know in certain terms. This is a Democratic town.
Yeah.
Whatever. And Bulletin News, National Rifle Association endorsement.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's being first heard on this show right here. The NRA did come out and endorse us, and they're sending a piece to all its members explaining that my definition of gun control really is to hit what you aim at.
Mm-hmm.
And we've worked hard for that endorsement, and we're very proud of it.
Let's talk about that for a second. Is there anything, like Bruce Beatty, I've been around the mulberry bush with him and all the crap that he went through with that park incident, and there was bulletins flooding out the other day that Mayor Pantlow had joined Mayor Bloomberg in New York City's anti-gun thing. I mean, big surprise there, you know. And I find out that cowards are always afraid of guns. But anyway, there's that. And now, is there anything left legislatively that you can do as mayor with respects to concealed carry or anything? Is there any dangling participles on that?
Well, the biggest thing is that we need to not initiate things from our city right here. And you know, it's interesting when the mayor, before he left office the first time, you know, he cost the city millions of dollars because the NRA was prepared to come here. But council had a lot to do with that as well too, and they tried passing that gun control issues here in Toledo, and the NRA said, forget it, we're not interested in coming to your city. So fortunately, since that last time though, there's been legislation passed in the state legislature where the cities can't necessarily preempt, you know, the states on that, and I'm excited, you know, I'm glad for that. But the big thing is we need to make sure that we don't get bogged down in stupid legislation on the city level that ends up costing us, you know, legal fees. We have a history of that, and we need to avoid that.
Okay. On the issue of, I've been catching bits and pieces of these various debates that you and the other three adults have been involved in on the TV channel, which makes me even more thankful that we didn't do our town hall meeting mayoral debate as I had originally planned. We're going to do one afterwards, you know, once the primary is over. But here's the thing: everyone seems to have finally gotten to the point where they're looking at business.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like this light went on ever since the Take Back Toledo effort. That business is important. Business is really, really, really important. First off, I want to ask you and your the three other competitors. You know, you remember we talked about your willingness or not to demand an immediate audit of everything, every book, every checking account, everything that the city has within 30 days of taking office. Are you still up for that?
Oh, totally. And that goes a long part to, again, I was the first candidate to say we need to change the way we do our budgeting to performance-based budgeting, recognized around the world as the way for a municipality to go. On average, you benefit by a 20% cost savings by doing it in a business-like fashion.
Well, help me out on that, because my understanding was that there was a guy who thought that up, you know, since I moved here. Everybody got hot and bothered about it until they found out what it was all about. He resigned or quit or got fired or whatever, and went away, and the idea went with him, and there was fomenting of some pushback from within the bowels of one government center at the time. Does that take... Does that kind of budgeting take away some cronyism, some favoritism, some dare I say old boy network favoritism from the various departments?
Well, you've answered it yourself, and the short answer is yes. It's very transparent. It takes away cronyism. And the best part is that it allows us to actually know how much we're spending on a specific outcome and get the best possible value for the dollar. The reason it failed, political will. And see, you know, I'm a candidate that really doesn't care whether I get re-elected or not. I want to do what's right for Toledo right out of the get-go. That was the first thing I came out with in January. This has always been the candidacy of first. You can check it out. It was on my announcement speech that I talked about that. Performance-based budgeting. It's critical, and we need to start it immediately.
I had lunch today with a young woman who owns a business here in town, and she was going on and on about inspectors, getting inspectors in, paying fines, being cited, getting specific performance. And this was before they were fired. This is back in, is it possible? I'm sure it's possible to make that whole thing more efficient. But would it be possible to have one inspector who knew electricity and plumbing and all those various codes, so you didn't have to have the electric guy out, then wait for the plumbing guy to come out, then wait for the electric guy to come, whatever? Is that possible?
I'm sure that's possible, but that's not what I've called for. I've called for privatizing that department and let's get private enterprise involved. We can get them out there faster, at less expense to the city. They'll be bonded and insured, so it's not, so that the end users will be protected. And it goes along with the permitting. I've been saying that we need to, for projects up to $100,000, these people need to get their permits back within 14 business days. And that's instead of 6 months or 14 months.
Any chance that you'll be charged with a different form of cronyism? What businesses are going to be qualified to go out and inspect other businesses?
Well, it's not necessarily inspecting businesses as it is inspecting, especially on the construction side. That's where a lot of it's involved at. And, it could be any architectural firm. And this is the way you do it. You rotate it. Just like FHA does for its appraisals right now. You don't get to pick your appraiser or anything else like that. It's on a rotating basis. And so there's no risk of that. And these inspectors are going to be well qualified, bonded and insured. And you know what? The nice thing is that we can probably do it for a whole lot less money to the taxpayers and the businesses.
You had some ideas. I remember the first couple of times we chatted about. I'm sorry, I don't have my notes in front of me, but it had to do with not rehab, but fixing up and doing and so on. And you pointed out. I remember you pointed out at the time that you didn't have to wait till you became mayor. This can be fired up immediately, and these houses could be refurbished and blah blah blah. Again, I'm sorry, I don't remember.
It was a neighborhood star program.
That has the current mayor taken you up on that? Is that sucker going?
Nor has city council. And that's something that could have come out of city council. The council of no to get anything done, no options offered. But anyhow, that's why I put out my economic recovery plan in its entirety in January. Take what you want. I don't care. I don't want any credit. Just these ideas will work. That's like on Friday, and it's a first announcement here on WSPD, is on Friday I will be announcing a plan so that we are going to reduce and eventually eliminate the income tax paid here in Toledo.
Hello. Yeah, well, didn't I see that on TV? Didn't somebody ask you about that? And you said you hoped that. No, I think it was Mike Miller, Toledo Free Press, asked you if you were going to either support or work against the 3/4% tax by 2012, and you said you hope to get rid of it before then.
Yeah, that's when got a little contentious over there at that debate. Fortunately for Toledoans, I do have a clue, and I always research everything I talk about up front because I am held to a very high standard, and I'm okay with that. And I think when Friday comes around, we're just waiting for a few more numbers from the state of Ohio. I think Toledoans are going to be very, very pleased, and so just kind of watch out for that. But it's heard first here on WSPD.
All right, Friday. Well, we ought to arrange it, time allowing, to have you come on or call us. I mean, because you're going to have a press conference.
I am probably around 11 o'clock, but I'll get all the details to the news department because I send them whether they like me or not. I always send them my press releases.